So what is living younger? I love Ralph Waldo Emerson. My daughter tells me I quote him all the time. But this is something that he says, like, we're always getting ready to live, but never living. And I hear that a lot. I hear that, you know what? I will start feeling better about myself when I lose 20 pounds. I will start doing that marathon that I always wanted to do after this thing happens. Or the one that I hear the most that saddens me the most is that, oh, I can't do that because I'm too old to do that. I can't change what I'm doing right now because I'm too old. I can't follow that passion that has come up for me because I'm too old. So what that tells us is that the type of fats we eat are so important. Studies show that saturated fats and diets high in cholesterol actually increases our risk of dementia and Alzheimer's, which is not very useful. Because most of us, I think the first time we start forgetting where we put our keys, we start thinking, oh my, am I getting a little bit what's going on here? So it's important to realize that fast actually helps the brain to work better, helps it to those transmissions that happens in the brain. Fats are really important for that. It's 70% water by weight. This is why hydration is so important. This is when you're not hydrated well, you can feel foggy and develop headaches and not be as clear, because the brain really needs water in order to function properly. It is only 2% of your body weight, but it uses up 20% of the body's energy. So that tells you how important the brain is in all of this function. What it also says to me is that anything that's using that much energy is going to produce a lot of waste material. It's going to produce a lot of free radicals. It's going to produce a lot of oxidation. And that, what we're discovering, is ultimately what damages the brain. And that's why it's so important for us to think about things that will neutralize those waste products and clear them out. So in order to take care of the brain, again, I love 3 or 4 simple things. We have to healthy foods, healthy thoughts, healthy practices. So what is healthy foods? Like, what types of foods are we talking about? Well, Harvard University, actually, I love them because they're very much into lifestyle and gene studies. They're very much into that, and they, along with my alma mater, Thomas Jefferson, they're very much into integrating health, and they're very much into holistic health. They did a study, and of course, they found out that fruits and vegetables that are high in anthocyanins and quercetin actually helps to quench oxidation and reduce damage to the brain. So what that does is that it enhances memory and it decreases risk of dementia. So we've heard this all before. We've seen all of these foods before. We know, we've heard that these foods are good, but what they're actually showing us now is how they work. So we've looked at foods that are high in folic acid. Folic acid has been long associated with memory and moods, and we find out that is indeed the case. Quercetin is not just associated with helping the brain function, but is also associated now with decreasing risk of cancers. All of these things have been associated with aging. So foods to improve memory. And these are always things that I'm looking into because sometimes my memory seems to be a little spotty. But we've got fish. We've all heard about omega-3s, and you can certainly get omega-3s for the vegans in the group and the vegetarians in the group in other ways, but it's certainly easier to get by fish. Foods high in saturated fats will increase your risk of dementia. And then we look at foods that are high in vitamin E, which actually recently has been shown to reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease.